Following information comes from the ncrel.org website. If you search Constructivism, you will find this. Constructivism is an approach to teaching and learning based on the premise that cognition or learning is the result of mental construction. In other words, students learn by fitting new information together with what they already know. Learning is affected by the context in which an idea is taught, as well as the student's beliefs and attitudes. This teaching is based on recent research about the human brain. The brain is a parallel processor. It simultaneously processes many different types of information, including thoughts, emotions, and cultural knowledge. Effective teaching employs a variety of learning strategies. This comes from Kane and Kane, a book that teaches brain-compatible teaching. Learning engages the entire physiology. Teachers can't address just the intellect. The search for meaning is innate. Effective teaching recognizes that meaning is personal and unique, and that students' understandings are based on their own unique experiences. When I'm teaching fractions, I don't talk about a numerator and a denominator. I talk about the up number and the down number. And the down number is eventually the denominator, but we get to that later. The search for meaning occurs through patterning. Effective teaching connects isolated ideas and information with global concepts and themes. Emotions are critical to patterning. Learning is influenced by emotions, feelings, and attitudes. The brain processes parts and wholes simultaneously. Some people have difficulty learning when you only show parts or wholes separately. Learning involves both focused attention and peripheral perception. Learning is influenced by the environment, culture, and climate. Learning always involves conscious and unconscious processes. Students need time to process how as well as what they've learned. We have at least two types of memory: spatial memory and a set of systems for rote learning. Teaching that heavily emphasizes rote learning does not promote spatial experienced learning and can inhibit understanding. This is why when teaching things like, you do these 4 steps when you see this problem, you can get it down. You can learn the steps, like when you see a fraction being divided by another fraction. You can get kids to say, keep, switch, flip, or keep, change, flip. You get them into this rhythm. Now, it can be better, let's say a half divided by 3/4. You keep the half, you change the divided to multiply, and then the 3/4 becomes 4/3. You flip. So keep, change, flip is a nice way of getting kids to combine both, and if you can sing it, that's even better, or you have some sort of dance that goes with it. Some teachers involve either kickboxing or some sort of physical activity. I've heard of a teacher of the year using karate, and the concept is that you're connecting what the teacher knows with some sort of movement, and that passion comes through. Here's another one. We understand and remember best when facts and skills are embedded in natural, spatial memory. Experiential memory is most effective. So it's great when you can pull the students away from their normal place where they're sitting and give them a different type of experience, perhaps with a different kind of book or with pens, something colorful. Learning is enhanced by challenge and inhibited by threat. Classroom climate should be challenging but not threatening to students. Each brain is unique, so teaching must be multifaceted. to allow students to express preferences. So for this reason, we try to get into the head of the students. We want students to be able to do something concrete and then let them make the abstraction. It's most fractions to decimals is taught in a step-by-step method. By drawing pictures and asking students to divide $5 into these little boxes, get a lot of trial and error going on. And that sort of process is their own step-by-step method, and then some students just see the numbers, which is fascinating. What is the best method of teaching to use? This comes from ndt-ed.org. One of the best things a teacher must do when considering how to teach students is to acknowledge that each student does not learn in the same way. This means that if a teacher chooses to do just one style of teaching, such as direct instruction, or collaborative learning, inquiry learning, the students will not be maximizing their learning potential. Obviously, a teacher cannot reach out to every student on every level in one lesson, but implementing a variety of teaching styles throughout the course allows all the students to have a chance to learn at least one way that matches their learning style. Much of the material used to educate students at grade levels beyond primary school is largely text and lecture-based, which have a significant limitation. While reading is an important learning mode, not all students learn effectively from reading. Some students respond better to visual and audio stimuli of lectures, but often get lost in the material or lose interest in the presentation. In this type of a learning environment, students have limited opportunity to ask questions or may be uncomfortable asking a question in front of the class. It's well known that many questions go unasked. So, how do students learn best? Ask yourself how you learn best. For example, do you learn better when someone tells you exactly how to do something, or do you learn better by doing it yourself and having some experimentation? Many people are right in the middle of these two scenarios. This has led many educators to believe that the best way to learn is by having students construct their own knowledge instead of having someone construct it for them. This belief is explained by the Constructivist learning theory. Learning is an active process of creating meaning from different experiences. Students will learn best by trying to make sense of something on their own with the teacher as a guide to help them along the way. Since all sensory input is organized by the person receiving the stimuli, it cannot always be directly transferred from the teacher to the student. This means that a teacher cannot pour information into a student's brain and always expect them to process it and apply it correctly later. For example, think of a time when you were taught something in a lecture style, and then contrast that by the time when you had to prepare to teach someone something else. You will probably agree that you learned the material better when you were preparing to teach the material. This is because you constructed the knowledge for yourself.